A belated good evening from Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, Mianjin, land of the Yagara people. You're watching Paramount Plus, the home of Friday football. Every single A-League men's and women's match right here. And as is the want early this season, it is yet another top-of-the-table clash. It's the Cup finalists, Brisbane at home, taking on a Western Sydney Wanderers side that can equal their best ever start to an A-League season with a win this evening. They'll have to do it without their talismanic striker, Brandon Borrello, who is out for 3 months with a broken bone in his foot. But this match promises much between these two sides. The win probability is very even, 35% apiece. The history between these two sides is very even as well. It's the 36th meeting between these two sides, and a win for the Wanderers would square the ledger. You can't get much closer than that. At home in Queensland, the Roar have a slender advantage of 7 wins to 5. All 7 coming here at Suncorp. As there we see inside the home side's dressing room, the Ross Aloisi revolution. There's the coach, his first time as head coach of an A-League club. You can see him on the left there with the words of motivation for his squad. He's spoken a lot about how they've been buying in. The players, he has a close relationship to them. And he's been delighted by the way they have responded. You can see how much he wants it as he lays down the law in the changing room. Corey Brown is there. He'll play no part this evening after injuring his hamstring last week. And you can see with those great pictures inside the changing room that Ross Aloisi wants his side to compete with the fire and brimstone of the reputation that Western Sydney bring to their A-League matches. Well, 9 years ago, this fixture was the grand final here, played in front of over 50,000. Since then, there's been a fall from grace. They often are spectacular, and plenty of soul searching from both these two clubs. And perhaps now, with the winner to move top of the table, whichever of these two sides it will be, perhaps it's too early to say that they're back, but Andy Harper, there is certainly a very positive feeling around Brisbane Roar this season and around the Western Sydney Wanderers, which has been building for just over a year now.
Good evening, Robbie, and to everybody. And fascinating look at Ross Aloisi straining at the leash. Wouldn't he love to have a pair of boots on? Rather than talking his players into the contest, he would love to be leading them into battle. He's doing a fantastic job. His first time at the helm of a men's team. They've set themselves up nicely with some very energised performances, and they'll need it tonight against the visitors from Western Sydney, who's started the season fantastically well. And this one does shape up, delayed as it may have been, to be a wonderful football match.
Well, we are still about 5 minutes away from kickoff. The match delayed for just under 1 hour after an almighty thunderstorm rolled over the stadium just as the players were preparing to come out for the warm-up. That was followed by constant rain and lightning, so no one was allowed out to warm up. So much said and written about the state of the pitch after last weekend's 2-1 victory here over Perth for Brisbane. There were going to be plenty of eyes on it, and I have to say, it doesn't look $1 million, but it certainly looks in pretty good nick considering the amount of water that's just fallen on it over the last hour. So credit where it's due to the ground staff, because water was pooling on this pitch about 20 minutes ago, half an hour ago. They've managed to get it playable. There was a communication from the league sent out to both clubs and to say the pitch had been deemed playable, that it might run a little bit fast. There's not a whole lot of grass cover. There's been plenty of rain about, not the best conditions to getting it back in top nick. There was, of course, a concert you can see off to the left there where the stage was. That has been entirely resurfaced, but it does take time. The football stadium needs it. Suncorp and Brisbane Roar, unfortunately, haven't had it. But the home side, as they make their way out onto the pitch, are looking to make it 3 wins on the bounce in the A-League. They take on a Western Sydney side buoyed by their triumph a week ago in the derby. The Western Sydney side that come into this one as top dogs in the division. Great to see the Den finding its voice this season, as well as we have a look at the two teams. Ross Aloisi has injury problems. Corey Brown and Florent Berenguer have joined an ever-growing list, so 4 changes. Kai Truen and Jack Hingett return in defence. Anthony Burke-Gilroy makes his first start in his second spell with the Roar. He's alongside Jay O'Shea and Joe Coletti, who's also back from suspension. Up front, Henry Hoare, Nikola Mileusnic and Tom Waddingham, who have 6 goals between them, lead the line in attack. And note that there may be no Quinn McNichol or Jonas Markowski, but there is Shay Cahill on the bench for the first time in the A-League, the teenager, on the day his dad was inducted into the Australian Sports Hall of Fame. That's right, Tim Cahill's son is on the bench, but it's another youngster we're having a look at this season. Tom Waddingham, 4 goals in 5 appearances in the Cup this season as Brisbane went all the way to the final. It included a goal against Western Sydney in the round of 16. He already has won this campaign against the Central Coast Mariners, a youngster with a big future, and there are plenty of them in the A-League these days. While Marco Rudan, he has injury concerns of his own. No Brandon Borello, of course. He underwent surgery on Wednesday successfully on a broken bone in his foot. So Zach Sapsford, the Derby hero, replaces the Socceroo up front. The only other change is also in attack, where a fully fit again Lockie Brook returns at the expense of Dylan Piraeus. Otherwise, no changes to the midfield and defence that has only conceded 2 goals so far. On the bench, Piraeus is the big brother. The Wanderers have an average age of just under 19 years of age on the substitutes bench this evening. When we talk about the hermetically sealed defence the Wanderers have brought to the league this season, that man can take a lot of the credit for it. The A-League goalkeeper of the year last year, the 31-year-old, has made 90% of saves so far this season. 18 of 20 shots at goal. Lawrence Thomas has stopped them. The best save percentage in the land. Like many goalkeepers, coming into his prime on the other side of 30. Daniel Elder is our referee this evening, being assisted by Anton Shetinen and David Walsh. Alex King is the 4th official. And we are underway at Suncorp, nearly an hour later than we should have been. But Andy Harper, the important thing is that we are up and running, and the pitch, for what's happened in the last hour or so, doesn't look too bad. We'll have to see how it stands up, as here's Antonsen straight into the area. We do have a first slip in defence as the Roar get it clear.
Yeah, forced away for this one, but I think it's going to be worth the wait. And I think the pitch is actually going to play into that. There'll be a helter-skelter start to the match. Both teams will be looking to assert their authority, and the lack of certainty that comes with the state of the pitch is actually going to be a bit more fuel to that fire. Wanderers already looking to close down really quickly. Brisbane doing the same, and they've lost possession, and it's the Roar who get the first bit of open territory.
Henry Hoare finding Mile Uznic down the right-hand side. Closed down by Clisby, who's enjoying life in his second spell back at Western Sydney. Tom Aldred with Scott Neville, a former Western Sydney Wanderer himself. He was actually a teammate of Jack Clisby at the Wanderers. O'Shea cleared by Clisby. It was an early first-time ball. Jack Hingett, who's back in the starting 11 this evening. Interestingly, these two sides are two of the best passing sides in the division, and certainly a far cry as far as Brisbane are concerned from where they were last season, as Waddingham keeps the pressure on. Good header from Mile Uznic for Henry Hoare. Marcelo was keeping a close watch on Burke Gilroy. Coletti back with O'Shea.
Well, it's a great chance for Brisbane early. It was a really poor pass from Henry Hoare. Unfortunately, couldn't control that effort at all. And the Wanderers off the hook. It's a real test for the players. On many fronts tonight, the delay, the wet weather, the bumpy pitch. They look up for it.
Lockie Brooke involved with Tate Russell. Brillante turns back with Marcelo. Good switch for Clisby. Probably could have brought that down. Looked for Sapsford. He makes his first ever start in the A-League. Zach Sapsford. Ross Aloisi already looking daggers. He's a affable, charming man outside of the 90 minutes, but he's still got that white line fever when that whistle blows. Here's Henry Hoare. Wide with Mile Uznic. Hoare taking up a position in the middle, looking for the little 1-2. He got it back again from Clisby. Cleared by Beadling, but only as far as Coletti. Coletti again, he's been an important addition to this side. Another that returns to the Roar after a spell away. Who was playing in Japan. Here's Mile Uznic, he's kept that in play. Hingett with Hoare again. We were wondering who would play that Berenguer position. The Frenchman missing with a quad injury, only probably for a week or 10 days, but it looks as though it's Henry Hoare who's drifting into those central positions. Burke Gilroy is there as well. We have two sides that like to dominate possession, like to play with the football, and for the moment it's Brisbane who are imposing their style on this one.
A lovely sequence from Brisbane in the end. Unfortunately, Henry Hoare didn't get himself on the same wavelength as Nikola Mile Uznic, but very, very polished from Brisbane. And you know, the pitch again, players haven't had a chance to acclimatise. It's early. They'll get used to it as time goes on. And a couple of moments when Brisbane looked to get in behind the Wanderers' defence, the ball just had a little bit too much on it. Certainly enabled for some early fireworks, great pressure, no one can really settle on the ball, which keeps people on edge.
Good switch of play from O'Shea for Mile Uznic. Now Hingert, the cross in is a good one. A teasing ball that eluded the first runner. Burke Gilroy can get on it and take Russell. Clears forward towards Antonsen. Looks to bring Milanovic into the game. The Raw have it straight back again. Trying to put some pace on the ball for Coletti, but unfortunately lifted it and has been turned over. Here's Antonsen, lovely touch, cushioning the ball down, looking to invite Sapsford into the game, and it's a sliding challenge away by Hingert.
Well, after being under some pressure for the opening 6 minutes, Wanderers threaded a nice little attack themselves. Beautiful ball with purpose from Hendricks, immaculate control from Antonsen, and again he couldn't quite read the play of the pitch and under-hit the pass, which was hooked clear by Brisbane defender Jack Hingert.
Sapsford, early ball in, the header away by Neville. Back in again, just too high for Milanovic. And, casually done by Freak in the Brisbane goal. Has to be careful of uneven bounce in these early moments as well. It's fair for the players, even more so. Macklin Freak and Lawrence Thomas in goal, as there's just a foul by Coletti on Hendricks.
That's a waste from Joe Coletti, isn't it? It's just silly. It's a lack of discipline, and it's denied his team a really good chance, because it's Waddingham who's picked up the ball and about to carry it towards, if not into, the Wanderers' penalty area. A little bit of gloss off this really excellent start from Brisbane.
And again, for the third time, O'Shea sprays the ball out towards this right wing area. Mile Uznic with Hingert. Back with Coletti. Neville with Tom Aldred, Brisbane Player of the Year last year. Kai Truan, is he the answer to Brisbane's left-back woes, now that Corey Brown, who was back briefly, is out again? Initial report saying over 10 weeks out with that hamstring injury. And that's well turned over by Truan. Burke Gilroy, well, he had two to aim for and managed to split them right down the middle. Now Milanovic, the race on down that right-hand side with Brook. He's quick and he's got a great left foot on him as well. Shoots. Comfortable for Macklin Freak.
Well, it's great speed in this game, end-to-end. Both teams attacking with real intent and without having to be asked. They're just going for it. It's great to watch. Lockie Brook back in the team. Blistering start to his Wanderers career from a goal-scoring perspective, particularly through the Australia Cup. It was nicely found by Milanovic, who's answered that first question, who's going to play the Brandon Borello role, and Milanovic has the chance to play as a central striker, more or less. And Borello, of course, is a huge hole. You don't fill it easily. But you can sense potential of the chemistry between Antonsen and Milanovic. Two great technicians.
O'Shea again, he's shaped to go long towards Mile Uznic before going short with Coletti. Coletti, the number 6, still screaming for the ball. Mile Uznic takes over from Hoare. Again, just the final pass lacking at the moment for Brisbane Roarers after a hesitant start. Western Sydney are coming into the game now more and more. Brook with Sapsford. We know both of those players know where the back of the net is. Sapsford outside with Clisby. The cross is a good one. Antonsen's header. Back to whence it came, but wide of the mark. Well, let's head down to Amy Chapman, who's joining us on the sidelines. Amy, how is everyone dealing with the pitch down there? And it's been a bright start.
Yeah, evening, Robbie. It has been a better intensity than we expected, and Ross Aloisi certainly being vocal, particularly centrally across the pitch. The pitch is holding up well, actually. It's just that end that Macklin Freak and Brisbane Roar are defending. That's the question mark over there, that newly laid turf. That's where it's a bit dicey.
Well, Brisbane will be hoping that's not too much of an issue in this first half. But we've already seen Western Sydney on the front foot. It may look like it's the best part of the pitch, that area, but that is all freshly laid. And we saw players slipping and sliding around last week in the match against Perth. Almost a mistake from Clisby again. The header from Brillante. Hendricks, a little 1-2, inviting Sapsford to get forward. Defended by Hingard. Fantastic noise inside Suncorp as well. The Brisbane fans are happy to be back, but also the travelling supporters, and there's a fair few of them as well. Western Sydney have brought north for this one, and despite the weather, it hasn't dampened the passions of the two sets of active supporters. Western Sydney have twice before gone 6 games undefeated to start a season. As here is Mile Uznic in behind, the first chance and a goal! Great finish at the near post. Lawrence Thomas beaten in his near post. He won't want to see that too many times, but it was a crisp finish from Mile Uznic, who broke away down the right-hand side. All too easy.
Well, VAR will have a quick check of this one, but we'll enjoy the Harvey Norman replay in the meantime. It's a lovely, lovely ball from Anthony Berg-Gilroy. And Mile Uznic had to be careful of his feet. Players already on notice. Your touch has to be sure. And his first touch sets him up. And it's a rasping finish. Very disappointing for Lawrence Thomas to get beaten on the near post like that. But otherwise, it's a goal that the game's deserved after a really exciting opening 13 minutes, and it's a goal that Brisbane deserved.
Nicola Mile Uznic gets his third for Brisbane against Western Sydney. He scored a double the last time Brisbane won here in Queensland, 3-0, 2 seasons ago. It was the last time anyone won this fixture. The last 3 have all finished 1-1. So Mile Uznic continues his fine start to the season, enjoying a new lease of life under Ross Aloisi as well, finding the back of the net, making the difference.
Well, the finish was excellent, and the celebration was almost, I'm interpreting, Robbie, as much relief as it was joy, because so much could have gone wrong. And the lead-up play from Berg-Gilroy was just beautiful. Clisby caught slightly out of position. Lawrence Thomas missed his assignment in goal. But super play from Berg-Gilroy.
Gilroy, who's had here he is on the ball, number 21, back in Brisbane, where he played 2 matches a few years ago before heading off on his odyssey, as Hoare lines up and palmed away by Thomas, forced into the save. And Western Sydney have to be careful here. Coletti with Mile Uznic, drives the comeback, and that's 2! Jack Hingard. 15 minutes on the clock. And it's a dream start for Brisbane Roar. They lead, the league leaders, Western Sydney by 2-0.
Well, this is just great football on the Harvey Norman replay. Numbers in the box, spread across the penalty area, ball in behind for Uznic, who cuts back to Jack Hingert, of all players, the left fullback at centre forward to make it 2-0. And hints of Barcelona, Robbie. Hints of Barcelona. It's beautiful football from the men in orange.
And it was worth the wait. There are the statistics. 4 goals. Their 4th goal in 264, and unfortunately for Anthony Burke-Gilroy, an early injury, and that is a shame because he's only just started playing again after arriving from Perth. But it's something that has given, and it's Jez Lofthouse who comes on for an early substitution just after his side have taken a 2-goal lead. And it's Lofthouse's 2nd appearance of the current season. Well, Brisbane fans will say that it's been worth the wait.
Well, I'm being teleported back to Cup final night, just a few weeks ago, actually. That first half they put on against Sydney, everything but goals. They were amazing. They couldn't run the distance out in Sydney. Their second half was excellent. To lift the cup might have been more difficult had Brisbane capitalised on that great play in the first half on Cup final night. Well, they've capitalised at home here. In 15 minutes they've got two very, very good goals.
Western Sydney, while it's not identical, will certainly have a familiar feeling. They were down 2-0 in the first half against Newcastle 3 weeks ago. They came back to salvage a share of the spoils. Antonsen with the equalising goal in the 82nd minute. Josh Brillante was also on the score sheet that day after Stamatolopoulos had given Newcastle a 2-0 lead. And they'll have to do that again. It's the first time they've ventured outside of New South Wales this season. Ross Aloisi was quick to point that out, that perhaps we hadn't really seen Western Sydney away from home, with the travel included and the conditions that come with travelling away. You can't control everything, as we've seen with the weather this evening. And that has certainly seen Marco Rudan's side caught cold this evening. And this watertight defence that we've been talking about has been overrun twice inside the opening 15 minutes, twice in 3 minutes between Uznic and Hingert. Now Brook with Russell. Hendricks goes to get it from Marcelo, looking to find a little space in midfield, none to be had. Milanovic with Sapsford. Heavy touch, almost found it back to Milanovic. In the end, picked off. Uznic with Coletti. Henry Hall comes inside. Oh, there was a pass on there. Marcelo absolutely furious, reading the riot act to the youngster Zach Sapsford, and he picks up a yellow card for having to make, in the end, an important foul, I guess you'd say.
Well, nice little bit of feet from Henry Hoare, and they call it important foul. In the future, that might be a sin bin. News that this week out of IFAB that the game is contemplating a clearinghouse for professional fouls in the game. Hugely controversial, and this might have been one such point of conjecture as it is. Marcelo stopping the attack as he felt he needed to, picks up the yellow card.
Now Jay O'Shea with the free kick, back post towards Aldred. Can't keep it in play. It's the second yellow of the season for the Brazilian Marcelo. Neville with Mileušnić. No Corey Brown, no Florent Berenguer in attack, but for the moment Brisbane Roar aren't missing him. Waddingham, great use of the body, the youngster, but Marcelo has been around. There's also no Carlo Armiento, who's missing with that groin injury he picked up in that cup run. There's Lofthouse. In the end, loses out. Hendricks. Marcelo, Brillante. Clearing the ball forward. Another one for Waddingham to chase. Mileušnić looking to keep the pressure on as well. Now Clisby can try and get Western Sydney moving forward again. There you have it. It's Brisbane at the moment, courtesy of this lightning start on a lightning kind of evening at Suncorp, that are moving provisionally top of the table. Waddingham able to turn and get the pass away very comfortably in the middle of the park. Truant back with Coletti. Aldred with O'Shea. That's a great ball left for Mileušnić. Drives it in and defended by Clisby.
It's tough. It's tough for the Wanderers because ball security isn't what it might be. But everything is being magnified because Brisbane are playing so well. The movement off the ball is excellent. Mileušnić down the right has been electric. Jack Hingett in partnership with Nicola has been dynamite. They've just got to hang on for the time being. The Wanderers, their season has started really well. They've been in good nick. They've got good players. But they've got to stick together now. They're under assault and they need to see out the storm.
Jay O'Shea with the corner. In it comes towards Aldred, back into the danger zone. It was Waddingham wrestling with Brillante, who managed to get his head on the ball. Saved by Thomas. Brook loses out again, but Milanovic quickly on the scene. Now Marcelo with Beadling, Clisby. They set out their stall, the orange and black, not allowing any room apart from those couple of little quick transitions in the opening 10 minutes. Referee Daniel Elder sees nothing wrong there despite protests from the crowd. That's a good ball from Hendricks with Brook. Outside for Russell. Russell's cross is a good one towards Antonsen. Got his head on it. Saved by Macklin Freak. Just the goal in the league so far for the Swede Antonsen, but Western Sydney have it straight back again. Sapsford with Brillante. Brook turning inside, letting fly, and Freak called into action with a strong right hand, turns it behind, corner.
Yeah, really good goalkeeping from Macklin Freak. He didn't have a lot of ground to cover, but the ball had a bit on it, and there were players like Antonsen coming through for maybe a fumble. He's just volleyball style, dug the ball out, guided it around for a corner. They'll defend this rather than have to deal with and tap in for Antonsen. Good goalkeeping from Freak. More work to do now, though.
Hendricks with the corner. Marcelo already has a goal to his name. They've been dangerous from corners this season, Western Sydney, and they just gave Brisbane a reminder of that there.
Well, he's the one to watch from corners. Sydney didn't handle him at all last week. Hit the post with one, came close on another couple of occasions, and Sydney just couldn't stop him. I would have thought coming into this one that maybe Tom Aldred would have the job of making sure Marcelo can't threaten. See how that particular part of the game unfolds. In general, though, Robbie, 26 minutes in, young Waddingham has done a better job in contesting Marcelo than any of the Sydney players did last week. They didn't want to go near him. Well, what a great lesson this is, early days of his career. Waddingham to go up against, is it fair to say, the most feared defender in the competition, and stare him down.
Here he is again, Tom Waddingham. Manages to square the ball. Since we're on the topic, Andy Harper, and I know you love a stat, Tom Waddingham's 5th start of his A-League career this evening. That's one more than a certain Nestori Irankunda, and 2 more than a certain Garang Kwol. So he is getting the opportunity and taking it.
He's got that look in his eye, and really keen to watch his game develop. It started well as a senior pro, but it's surely a large part of Thomas's game is going to be presence. He's a big strapping lad, and what a great test against the guy in possession now, Marcelo. The quiet word from me to him in the ear would have been before the game: take him on, don't be intimidated, make your mark against one of the best, and see how they cope. He started very well.
Have a short break here for the free kick, as let's head back down to Amy Chapman, who might have some news about Anthony Burke-Gilroy for us, Amy.
Yeah, thanks, Robbie. Just on that early exit for Burke-Gilroy, he came off pointing at the hammy, indicating a pulling feeling. Very disappointing for him after a great opening 15 minutes, and of course a very impressive assist.
See the ice under that right hamstring there for Burke-Gilroy, who's played professional football in the United States of America, Portugal, after leaving Brisbane Roar, then returned at Perth Glory, also played NPL down in Victoria in that interim period. And back in the A-League after leaving Perth Glory as well. It was a late signing, late in the day, but certainly Ross Aloisi delighted to have him on board. Marcelo Antonsen, it's run through to Brook. Sapsford is there, Brook hits it! Oh, and that wasn't far away. That's the flag. Gone up in the end. For offside, it has.
It was a nice touch from Antonsen, and the Wanderers showing, as much as they've been second best in the open half hour, Brisbane need to maintain the grip because the games can change really quickly. The Wanderers have got good enough players, as we've seen already this season, to bring about that change. If Brisbane are going to give them that chance, undo all this great work. It's been a scintillating half hour. Look at them fighting for the ball. Wanderers just cannot get any control at all. Rick's lucky to escape there. That was a frustrating challenge by him. Two nibbles there. Shown by referee Daniel Elder.
Well, Brisbane took the free kick very quickly while you were watching the replay, turned it over, but Sapsford couldn't get away down the left-hand side. Well, that's a risky pass from Macklin Freak. Brillante putting the pressure on Coletti. Who was sent off against the Mariners, as was Harrison Steele, but here the break is on again. Jez Lofthouse getting down to the byline, drives it across, oh, and that was so close to Waddingham getting his name on the score sheet. So close to a third for Brisbane. And when Brisbane come forward down the flanks, they are causing Western Sydney all sorts of problems.
Getting in behind beautifully. It's a very positive touch that from Jez Lofthouse, actually. Could have been three easily. Here's trouble for the Wanderers. Marcelo down needing attention now. That should have been through. Should have been. No one missed it. It was just unfortunate for Waddingham. Once Thomas got away with it. More great play from Brisbane.
And the Brisbane players coming across to grab some water. Now, is this ankle for Marcelo like a knock, or is it muscular? He went sliding in to try and prevent the cross from Lofthouse. And, that doesn't look particularly good. Marco Rodin not particularly impressed with what he's seen in the opening 32 minutes of this one from his side. You've lost a leader in attack like Brandon Borrello for 3 months this week with a broken toe. You don't want to lose your leader at the back and also your team's captain. Is that a little nod of you'll be all right? It looks okay. Marcelo, as we see Andy Harper the goals again.
Beautiful from Berguro. The touch to set up the pass was a good one. There's too much space on the near post. Lawrence Thomas, the Cardinal sin as a goalkeeper. This is a beautiful setup. Look at the number of Orange players making their way into the penalty area. Then they stretch the Wanderers. Sapsford slipping there. Maybe that was a factor to consider as well. Just lost that yard in being able to close down. A good finish from Jack Hingett. 2-0 to Brisbane. Marcelo off. Big loss. Big loss.
Well, Andy Harper said it. That is a massive loss for Western Sydney. They're without Gabriel Cleur, a right back, but experienced player. They lost Alex Bonnetig at the start of the season after he played the first match of the campaign as well with injury. And now they have lost their captain, Marcelo. Oscar Priestman comes into the game, his 4th appearance of the current campaign. Just signed a 2-year scholarship deal during the off-season. He will come into midfield. It means a reshuffle.
Hendricks will slip in at the back. Well, that's a double blow because so much of his midfield work is so good.
Lisby had to be careful there.
And I then would just be really interested to see, not positionally, but athletically how Hendricks handles it. Beautiful play, great acquisition, sensational midfielder. Not 100% convinced based on what we've seen that he's going to have the speed necessarily as a centre half. There he is at the back next to Beedling.
As Hingert gets it out wide with Mile Uznic. Little ball in for Hoare. O'Shea dinking it over the top. It holds up well. Well, if Jay O'Shea starts getting involved in the play higher up the field, it could be even worse for Western Sydney, because he has been the key man for Brisbane so far this season, and he's playing in that number 6 role back in front of the defence.
Well, it's been an emphatic statement from Brisbane in the opening 35. How would they cope without Berenguer? The Berenguer-O'Shea double act in midfield has been fabulous. Half of that's gone with Berenguer not playing tonight. How do they cope? Oh, jeez, they've been brilliant. And that's without Jay being particularly prominent. The youngsters have just done a superb job.
Here is O'Shea.
It does give them enormous confidence, though, to know that he's at the back propping things up.
Lofthouse, a little touch for Hoare, who hits it. Just missing to the right of Lawrence Thomas's goal.
Set up for the shot, just didn't collect it the way he wanted. Now Clisby's down. Jez Lofthouse with a typically probing, positive run through midfield. He might have backed himself to shoot. Henry Hoare certainly did, and he had another player outside the pass as well.
He's got 3 goals to his name already this season. He's been joined as top scorer by Nikola Mile Uznic this evening. Now, we've already lost 2 players to injury. Looks like they've decided a bit of the magic spray will hopefully be enough for Jack Clisby. First of all, it's the left ankle. Now, I don't think we've seen anything to suggest that it's the pitch, but perhaps the delayed kickoff time, the staggered warm-ups that they've been involved in. Certainly Marco Rudan will be earning his crust this evening if Western Sydney are to get something out of this. And all the excitement, it would be remiss of me not to inform viewers and you, Andy Harper, that Mile Uznic's goal was Brisbane's 700th in A-League history, and Jack Hingert's was Brisbane's 50th against Western Sydney. We talk about the history between these two sides, how far it goes back, how tight the rivalry is. As we see this Western Sydney fans who have travelled, they've both scored 50 goals now in this fixture, these two sides. There's Hoare back outside for Mile Uznic. The cross is a nice one beyond Waddingham and cleared by Tate Russell.
All trouble all night for the Wanderers down that right-hand side. But dangerous on both flanks, but the speed of Mile Uznic has been a telling factor. The passes have been incisive and kept him interested. And he's rounded up most of them. Had to hit that last cross. Waddingham would be just licking his lips for some service, I'm sure. There's the dribbling through midfield as much as anything. Lofthouse since has come on. Henry Hoare, Mile Uznic out wide. The Wanderers have really struggled to deal with.
Brisbane, but Priestman and Brillante and Beedling have been able to play their way out of that one. Now what's the referee decided here? Free kick Western Sydney's way. Five shots apiece at goal, but Brisbane have had the better opportunities, and they've been clinical as well. Hoare back outside for Mile Uznic. Waddingham, what a touch. Wrestling with Beadling, and he's fouled. The referee gave as much advantage as he could.
That's it, that's the presence you're talking about. It's going to be a big part of his game. It's a wonderful touch. He's drawn a foul from Beadling, frustrating the youngster. He needs to realise with every one of these free kicks that are conceded against him, it's him getting the upper hand. Uznic will fancy himself from here, Robbie. He can hit a dead ball. We've seen it. Telling effect.
He has that technique of the knuckleball, the one that floats and dips and moves in the air unpredictably.
Safe to say, not his best.
Jay O'Shea, who is currently the only player in the division this year. Well, it doesn't look good on the replay,
God,
does it?
It was worse on the replay.
It looked like one of those animated things where the ball flies off into outer space and you see it orbiting the earth. I was going to say, Jay O'Shea is the only player in the league this season to have scored from a direct free kick. I'm not sure that one was intentional. It was against MacArthur on the opening day of the season from a wide position. More of a cross, than one of those ones that doesn't touch anything and curls inside the far post. Nice little touch, Trewin for Hoare against Russell. Still got it, Henry Hoare. Nice article and interview on aleagues.com.au about Henry Hoare and how he was twice almost lost to professional football in Australia. Didn't make the grade at Brisbane, headed to Perth, failed to impose himself there, came back, was playing for Lions FC in the NPL, had a spell at South Melbourne, and it was Warren Moon who said this kid surely has too much talent to not get one more chance. Warren Moon may be gone, but he's being repaid that faith this season in particular by the Brisbane number 13. Trying to set the tone for Western Sydney here in these final seconds of the first half, in which they haven't shown enough combativeness, the qualities that we associate with Western Sydney Wanderers, that they were so lauded for in the derby a week ago, have been noticeably absent this evening. Yellow card, Hingard, just confirming that it's the orange side that have the knife between the teeth. Brisbane looking for 3 consecutive wins for the first time in 2.5 years in the A-League, looking for 3 consecutive home wins as well. Had to wait for kickoff, but they didn't have to wait long 13 minutes. Mileušnić 15 minutes. As Priestman shoots from distance, Jack Hingert. They continue to fight and chase down everything. Lofthouse. Waddingham does well. Lofthouse again. 4 minutes of stoppage time at the end of this first half. In particular for the injury stoppages to Marcelo and Clisby. Quickly forward again for Mileušnić. Comes inside with Hoare. The back heel was convincing, and then I think Mileušnić found Josh Brillante when he went charging into him. Beadling with Priestman, Antonsen, Russell back with the youngster Priestman again, all the way back. Lawrence Thomas. Priestman just 20 years of age. Former Sydney FC captain. Made a couple of cup appearances for Sydney FC as well, before the move during the off-season to Western Sydney. Something of a theme at the moment. Very true and watchful. Neville, in the pre-match press conference for this game, spoke about Barcelona, Andy Harper, and Durant Postecoglou, and said, we want Suncorp to be that place. He remembered coming to play Brisbane at that time and how terrible it was. I think he said it was disgusting to come here and try and play that Brisbane side, and he said that's what they want again, but with this man's techniques, this man's methods, Ross Aloisi. And for the moment, there's no doubt it's working. They're playing very good football. They have been surgical in cutting open Western Sydney. Mileušnić goes again, too much pace, making light of the heavy conditions. There is Neville. And a little intricate passing in the final third.
Well, that sort of sums up the half. It's been excellent for them. Great ball movement. 2 goals to the good. And they back it up second half, Brisbane.
Well, it has been a consummate performance. We had to wait an hour with rain delays and thunderstorms and lightning strikes. But it was worth the wait for the home fans and the Brisbane supporters. And there is a feeling they're starting to turn back the clock in Queensland these days. Mileušnić got the ball rolling in the 13th minute. 2 minutes later, Jack Hingert with just the 4th goal of his career in his 13th season with Brisbane Roar made it 2-0. And there could have been more as well. Half-time at Suncorp. Brisbane Roar 2, Western Sydney Wanderers 0.
Yeah, surprisingly, Scotty, they are both muscle injuries. Obviously, we spoke about the Burke-Gilroy hamstring earlier, but with Marcelo, it looked like he was grabbing his ankle originally, but the word from their bench is it's actually his calf. So it might have been in that turning motion, and perhaps that does take a look at the conditions that are out here. Obviously, both teams suffering muscle injuries in that first half. It's difficult.
Cuts it in, Adriana Leon. What a hit! What a great goal! Canada take the lead with a rocket into the top corner.
Back to Kerr, who cuts it for Fowler! Less than 2.5 minutes on the clock, and Sam Kerr sets up Mary Fowler to give the Matildas the dream start.
Red hot lover, but I'm cold as ice. I'm no angel.
Welcome back to Suncorp, where if you're a Brisbane Roar fan, you're all smiles at the midway point of this opening match of round 6 of the Isuzu Ute A-League season. Brisbane Roar leading by 2-0 in this rain-delayed fixture. And Marco Rudan already forced into one change in the first half when Marcelo went off with a calf injury, replaced by Oscar Priestman. He's made 2 more changes at the break with one of the revelations of last season, Hayden Simmons, making his first appearance of the new season after returning from injury. He actually played in the cup game between these two sides in pre-season. Hayden Simmons and Dylan Parias also comes on. Sapsford and Russell, the players making way. And there is another new face as well at Western Sydney these days. It was announced this afternoon, too late to take part in this fixture, but Valentino Yule has also been signed as an injury replacement for Brandon Borello, the former Newcastle Jet, who also played under Marco Rudan at Western United. He's now a Western Sydney Wanderer. And we are set to go. Second half underway. Andy Harper, Brisbane Roar, dealt with the conditions perfectly in the first half, as though they weren't even an issue.
Played brilliantly, and let's see if they can maintain that rage. Very important to start the second half for them to make sure they try to nullify any hopes of a comeback from the Wanderers. They've got a bit of a spring in their step from kickoff.
Lisby's early cross. Neville with the header away. Now Milanovic, oh, it's a stinging drive from the edge of the area. And the comeback is on, just as they did against Newcastle when they trailed by 2 at half-time. Western Sydney Wanderers are back in the contest.
Well, it didn't take long. Milanovic picking the ball up centre field and spreading it wide to Clisby, whose cross is not really that well dealt with. On the Harvey Norman replay, what is dealt with is the chest and half volley from Milanovic. He's a fine player, and that's a great finish. Early lifeline for the Wanderers, and it's game on at Suncorp.
Another who made the trip from Western United to Western Sydney. He, midway through last season, making his 10th A-League start only, Nick Milanovic. And that's his 10th goal, his 3rd of this campaign.
Well, interesting shuffling of the deck. Tate Russell off for Hayden Simmons. A couple of those little breaks in play, there was some pretty heavy conversation, instruction going to Tate Russell. He's showering now, and it's Hayden Simmons back in at right fullback. And Milanovic was playing in that first half a bit more in the centre and closer to Antonsen. You can see him there on the centre circle. He's moving more out to that left side, seems to me, which is where he's played most of the season. There he is drifting out to the flank now to link up with Clisby, and it's Lockie Brook who plays more centrally.
But they still have to be careful at the other end. Mileusnic for Coletti, looking for the first time ball for Henry Hoare.
And I think they're just too heavy on that left-footed touch from Coletti. Well, I'm sure Brisbane will be very determined to try and get themselves back into an ascendant position, but they're having to turn and chase early doors here.
Marius is very quick. The cross was a teasing one, but in the end there just wasn't enough space in between defender and keeper. A change in that Priestman came on for Marcelo. He actually came into midfield with Hendricks dropping down into the centre of defence, as there's a foul on Lofthouse by Simmons. Brisbane. Just Tom Aldred trying to take the sting out of things early. They have to be careful about trying to calm things down too early in the second half, because that will only incite Western Sydney to come more and more. With still well over 40 minutes left to play. Freak. Hall's little touch is a good one. Whittingham's control on the chest just got away from him. Beadling was very watchful. Back with Aldred. Kai Truan. It's Lockie Brook looking to keep the pressure on. That one gets away from Henry Hoare. Milanovic with Brook. Under pressure from Hoare, and he just lost his footing, I think, Lockie Brook, and then put his hand on the ball.
Yeah, he used his hand to control the ball, and then was the referee. A couple of heavy touches there, and feet getting stuck. Henry Hoare with a heavy touch that gave the opportunity to Lockie Brook, who couldn't maintain his own feet.
And they're away here, Brisbane. They're queuing up in the middle. Mileušnić still blocked. Blocked by Jack Clisby. Remarkable. As Brisbane Roar was so close to re-establishing their two-goal cushion. Now they've got defending to do. Milanovic, he drives it in, and it's a corner for the Wanderers.
Oh, it's an amazing chance. This is just the back end of it. Mileušnić beats Lawrence Thomas twice, and Lawrence very relieved because he mistimed his run out of the box to sweep that danger up. Philip, that would have been for Brisbane. Straight back on the horse after conceding to go 3-1 up. As it is now, they have to defend their own goal.
Got it, Hendricks. The ball in, the header at the near post from Antonsen. Here is that opportunity earlier.
If it goes in, it might have been an issue of offside anyway. We'll have to wait and see, but does so well. And credit the Wanderers, actually, who turned and chased in sufficient numbers to see the ball away. And it was pretty prone defending. Daniel McGreen was talking about the concession of the first goal from the Wanderers and how poorly set up, and then how poorly they responded in defence to Brisbane's first goal, and they were pretty prone on that example as well.
Several times in this match. Again, it was Jay O'Shea spraying the ball out in behind that left back area for Western Sydney. O'Shea with Lofthouse. Away past Simmons and Parius, the two substitutes on this right flank. Very happy, and he will not let up on his side. Waddingham, that's a great turn. Waddingham for Hoare. His shot is blocked. He's appealing for a hand. The Den all came up as one voice. And judging by Dorrit Hendricks holding his left arm, there may have been contact. Is it the shoulder? Perhaps it's when he fell to ground. Priestman. Switch of play just overhead. Now they're asking for the handball.
still has to be a measure of intent, despite what's going on in the game. Point blank. Anyway, playing about because nothing's been asked for. Let's play on, as it should be.
Aldred does well. Oh, looking to release Lofthouse, but also Waddingham.
But he's passing the tests, Hendricks. We did have some questions, as we've not seen him play there before.
I'm not sure, actually. I mean, it's not on target, first of all, but if a defender comes out with his arms out like that, it's making the silhouette bigger. Now here's O'Shea. Can't find Hoare. There's a little bit more urgency back into the game for Brisbane Roar. They've created a couple of half chances. Now Trewin with O'Shea again. Looking to get it to Mile Uznic as quickly as possible. O'Shea back with Mile Uznic. Exchanging passes on the edge of the box again. Hoare. Waddingham trying to turn. No free kick, says the referee. And the Den are making quite the din. Simmons under pressure. Waddingham trying to win it back. They have forced the turnover.
What a good game. Great energy in the game. A lot of positive play, some chances. Not altogether easy circumstances for the players, but night time in Suncorp. Brisbane Roar. Much better than a Sunday afternoon on 2 o'clock.
Brisbane have it straight back again. And after a good 5-minute spell, Western Sydney just taken their foot off the gas. That's a great pass from Hoare. Mile Uznic streaming forward again towards Waddingham. O'Shea keeps it alive. Coletti. Mile Uznic was in a little bit of space again there. Down the right-hand side. They find him now. By Neville. Ground, and that doesn't bring any joy to the fans either.
That's a clear cover. Jez Lofthouse says, well, I was propelled into that challenge by a couple of hands in the back from Hendricks. He might have had a case.
Beadling had to adjust very quickly there. Found Priestman. Farias now muscled by Trewin. Using his body well there on Waddingham. Brisbane Roar substitutes warming up on the sideline. The changes are going to come now. It's a great ball from Trewin for Hoare. Lovely football, Brisbane again. Trewin, he's found Lofthouse. The shot, brilliant block from Hendricks. Fabulous, desperate defending from the Dutchman.
Well, he's been a godsend, hasn't he, Hendricks? You mind questioning whether Brisbane could expose him as a centre-half. Just his sense, game sense, his expertise, his experience has dug them out of a couple of holes.
Now Lofthouse down this left wing again. Turns inside. O'Shea finding Hall. Cocked it quickly, ready to fire.
Good defending Brisbane, great play Brisbane. Jeez, they've done some good football tonight. They've got the Wanderers back on their heels after a good start to the second half, but beautiful incisive passing. That's a good touch and shot, but Brisbane does very well to defend that, as Hendricks did on the attack before. It's been a beauty here at Suncorp tonight.
It's been a match that has flowed from one end to the other. Hasn't been a stop-start affair, despite the potential with the soaking conditions. Back post. It's out for another corner. Waddingham and Neville just asking, as they almost got in each other's way.
Simmons.
Good noise coming from the den there behind the goal, but the Orange are attacking. Jay O'Shea, the go-to man for Brisbane, delivers. It's a good ball. That's a header from the Englishman, the Brisbane captain Tom Aldred, just wide.
The chances sort of being racked up by Brisbane. Make the most of this. A couple of changes now. Hingett, great goal from him.
Louis Zabala coming on to replace the veteran Jack Hingett, who got what is currently the winner, Joe Coletti. Also makes way back from suspension into the starting lineup, but Tarish Gamulka, a more than able understudy, gets his chance for the last half hour. And the high press has been handed over. The chance here. The first touch of the football for Gamulka and a shot at goal.
Well, these sights at goal for Brisbane are mounting. But ultimately, you have to say, when push has come to shove, the Wanderers have defended with the necessary desperation. Hendricks again then throwing himself in to put off Taras Gamulka. How long can the Wanderers hang on? How much more pressure can Brisbane put them under?
Well, they are yet to concede a goal in the second half of a match this season, the Wanderers. They know how to defend. 4 clean sheets before today. There's Neville's header, dealt with by Lawrence Thomas, who looks to release Lockie Brook quickly upfield. Priestman is fouled by Hoare. Just is Beadling. Had a good second half of the season last year, Tom Beadling. Set up a good working relationship with Marcelo at the back for the Wanderers. He can also play in midfield, Beadling. 2 potential central midfielders playing in the centre of defence now, with he and Jorrit Hendricks. how it stands. It's still Brisbane, courtesy of the 3 points that Jack Hingett's goal delivers them, who are heading top. Only provisionally, of course, because this is the opening match of the round. Full weekend of action coming, including the Matildas. Tomorrow, away to Canada in Langford, British Columbia. Two-game series for the Tillies to bring the curtain down on an historic 2023 for women's football in Australia and right around the world. Wellington Phoenix are in action tomorrow afternoon against Western United. They can continue their fantastic start and will be eyeing off top spot as well. As here's O'Shea with Zabala.
Those brain fades are killers. Milanovic going nowhere. Louis Zabala off the bench, really keen to make an impact. Positive forward run, went unrewarded because he couldn't get to the ball before Milanovic, and then he just has a brain fade, and the Wanderers can breathe when they should still be being suffocated.
Milanovic with a giant first-time switch of play towards Brook. Simmons getting too close to Lofthouse again.
How clever was that touch from Jess Lofthouse? Beautiful. Doing the swami there. He can move, Jez Lofthouse, and Brisbane have these two guys going in form as they've been tonight. And Lofthouse came off the bench, but he and Henry Hall, very similar type players. They're very good dribblers, love taking on people. And when they're doing that in tandem, different parts of the field, it really stretches the focus of a defending team. They've got to watch it on both fronts. Thankfully, from a Brisbane viewpoint, both have been on their game so far tonight.
Brook, such a clever little dribbler as well. Marius only got as far as Kai Truan. Just Lofthouse lose the shin pad there. He does wear the socks low. There's Lawrence Thomas. Brisbane, it's a good run, and it's another foul by Lofthouse. Leading back, they're inviting the press again from Brisbane. Clisby with Milanovic. Away from Zabala. Brook. Lisby's cross, the big up and under behind and out behind. Let's head back sideline with Amy Chapman, who's keeping a close watch on what Brisbane Roar are doing this evening. Amy.
Yeah, thanks, Robbie. And I'm sitting very close to Ross Aloisi, who, of course, has been quite vocal, particularly enjoying what he's seeing from youngster Tommy Waddingham. The work rate that he has, the pace that he has in closing down has been immense. And his first touch and hold-up play has been, incredible for the Roar today, and allowing them to get players out. He's also loving Mile Uznic, the amount of space he's getting himself into. So, although he doesn't sound happy, Ross Aloisi's been pretty impressed.
Thank you, Amy. We see, I just saw Nick Milanovic a few minutes ago waving to the bench saying, I need water. That's what he's saying. I've been calling for this because he must be starting to feel a little bit of cramp or something, which is why he's gone down. Pickle juice into the muscles to get him back up and running again. It was his goal that has Western Sydney right back in the contest here, just seconds after the restart.
Well, you saw Jack Clisby welly the cross out for a goal kick, which is yet to take place. Here's Clisby in much better form, dropping the ball into the danger area, and as Brisbane can't effectively clear their area, Milanovic pounces. It's a wonderful finish from an excellent young player who's under a bit of physical stress at the moment, as many players would be. Heavy conditions. The game's been played at a cracking pace.
Still plenty of noise coming from both sets of active supporters as well. Wanderers down in the corner of the ground, you can see there the goal that they are attacking. The den behind the goal that Brisbane are attacking here through Louis Zabala. Down the right wing, Mileusnic in support. Gomulka. Zabala again. Mileusnic drives it in low for Waddingham. It's another great touch in the area, able to swivel and find space for the shot. But not the necessary power.
No, but I'm happy with just seeing that. The use of the body, the turning to space to find a shot. Didn't get enough on it, obviously, but more great signs for the youngster.
Brisbane going to rue the chances that they haven't taken. As we see, apart from being stunned by that wonderful clinical Milanovic strike at the start of the second half, it's been very much Brisbane Roar back on top. Here's Lockie Brook on that left foot, takes a little deflection on the way through. Milanovic's goal officially clocked at 33 seconds into the second half. Unfortunately, just under 20 minutes left to play. The rain is returning to Suncorp. Looks like we might have been able to get away with it. That's brilliant play again from Waddingham. And Jess Lofthouse was just caught in two minds as he headed into the area. And now quickly, Parias bursting forward, Antonsen at the back post. Antonsen is there, blocked by Neville. How?
Well, classic end-to-end action. This one will get checked, but just as Brisbane were threatening, Parias on the breakaway too fast. He measures this really nicely, Dylan Parias. That's handball, isn't it?
Might see from here.
Yeah, that's handball. It's going to be a penalty for sure. That one, I'll have less sympathy with that one. Play on. Jeez.
Well, Antonsen felt for sure he wasn't even preparing for a throw-in. He was 100% convinced we were heading back to the penalty spot. The arm sitting at the side of the body, just as it was at the other end.
Well, before you ask, and actually, I don't care if you're not going to ask, I'm going to tell you. The demarcation for me was the distance from the pass, from the effort. Hendricks was like half a metre away. This one was a much longer calibration. At any rate, I'm happy for them to play on. Still got to be a measure of intent.
You just want to abolish the handball rule entirely.
No, I was happy with the way it was.
Well, more history about to be made here. Dad Tim Cahill was inducted into the Australian Sport Hall of Fame. The 9th footballer. 8 men and Cheryl Salisbury representing Australian football. And now Shay Cahill about to make his A-League debut for Brisbane Roar. But before then, Relante's ball in towards the back post after Beadling's initial header. And those changes are going to come now. Special day for the Cahill family. Came through the ranks at Everton, where his dad played in England as well. So Cahill into the game to replace Jez Lofthouse, who was himself a first-half substitute. Working hard. Tom Waddingham is also coming off to be replaced by Ryland Brownlee. Well, we saw for Western Sydney Marcus Eunice, another youngster, also coming into the contest. Fresh and young legs all round for both sides at Suncorp. Lockie Brooke, the player making way for Marcus Eunice, who came on for the final seconds of the derby last week in his first appearance of the season. The stage is certainly set for one of these youngsters on the field now to make a name for themselves.
Well, there's plenty of them, but this has been a great game. It's got 15 plus stoppages to go. Brisbane could have skipped clear. The Wanderers could have drawn level. There'll be plenty of other games, Robbie, where that Antonsen onto Neville's arm is given as a penalty. So in that context, it's a bit of an escape for Brisbane. And maybe they've earned that escape by the quality of their football and the number of chances they've had and not actually maximised.
I wonder if it hit just the body first before moving on to the arm as well of Neville. Mind you, if you watch Champions League football from Europe this week, you'd know that that's not always the case either.
I mean, it's a hotbed. It's a hotbed. Thankfully, we can't put either of the penalty claims in the howler category. To repeat, that's the whole point of VAR, to get rid of the howlers.
First touch in A-League football for Shay Cahill there. Was in the end rendered moot by the fact that the whistle went for an offside. Be interesting to see what he brings to the table. Come through the ranks, spent his entire youth career, or much of it, in England. Confident first touch. Just 18 years of age. Dumulka, his touch is heavy. Milanovic, clever with Antonsen. He scored the late equaliser against Newcastle when they came from 2 down. Antonsen. Farias, he's done well, the cross in towards Eunice. Henry Hoare hooks the ball away.
Enough in it for the Wanderers, isn't there, Robbie? There's enough in it. Farias is getting enough joy down the right-hand side for Brisbane to be very, very worried.
players that grew up supporting A-League clubs that are now making their debuts as Antonsen attacked that ball well, got there ahead of Neville.
The one thing about the Wanderers, I will say, not just tonight, over the course of the season, is how they haven't been able to get Antonsen more involved, more consistent basis. He's a classy player. Maybe we're expecting too much. I would have thought he's an avenue to goal or in general play that they might be able to utilise a little more. Maybe he's finding it difficult to get into the games. But he's a great asset. Very, very classy striker.
Brownlee gives chase as Lawrence Thomas slips. A crucial moment. Brownlee's dad, who you would have heard in recent weeks, also played A-League football. The history is being written. Father to son, from the terraces to the pitch. Clisby, ball in, on the turn from Antonsen, and Freak will claim it.
His first touch was great, but really difficult to get your feet set with the turf moving in tufts as you try to plant your foot. Just couldn't quite pivot, but the first touch was good. They're coming home really strongly, the Wanderers, as you'd expect. The campaign they've built for themselves in these early weeks of the competition. They're not going to let it all come undone without a fight, but Brisbane have been mighty tonight. Can they get the finishing touch? Get the feeling they're going to need a third.
Mile Uznic fouled by Marcus Yunus. Only just, he thought he was away. O'Shea, it's a great ball for Zabala. Mile Uznic in the middle, Henry Hoare alongside him. Louis Zabala again. Taras Gumulka. Still players slipping and sliding around. Hoare. Gumulka. O'Shea. Can they fashion an opportunity here? The little touchback for O'Shea. Diving away to his left. Lawrence Thomas wasn't needed.
Well, again, it's the patience and the quality of the movement, the passing, the poise. It was worth a goal. But in the end, Jay O'Shea couldn't get his left foot working the way he needed. They're making it look fork and easy.
Shots as Shikluna comes on to replace Clisby. Dylan Shikluna, another who, like Shay Cahill in the Raw ranks, has joined the A-League club from an English youth academy. Shikluna arriving from Wolves. Hoare closed down by Priestman. Truant. O'Shea looking to find the space, he does so. Jay O'Shea is starting to have that incredible influence on a game as well that he has for Brisbane Roar. He leads Brisbane Roar for passes in opposition half, crosses, dribbles and tackles this season. It's the full gamut for Jay O'Shea. All of that with a very heavily bandaged right knee. Zabala gets there only just. Great challenge, Yunus. But Mile Uznic is so quick. He got back, only to foul.
reached in. If he doesn't reach in, I think he's going to win the ball cleanly. Just gave the referee that chance.
Shea under pressure from Milanovic, a real battle for everything here. Milanovic throwing himself about. Now looks O'Shea for Brownlee. Aloisi still screaming instructions. Yellow card for Milanovic. Brownlee can't control that one, not an easy one. '85th minute on a heavy pitch, and still the high press comes from Ross Aloisi's side. So does the second row of defence. When the first player is beaten, someone else steps in to cover. In the end, as you were alluding to, Andy Harper, it's been a very even contest between two sides really going for it, as we see the Paramount Plus player index. Milanovic leading the way, Milanovic, O'Shea, who's been everywhere. Hingott's goal important there. So many players who have been on song in this one. Little ball over the top, very well defended. And now Yunus breaking forward at the other end. But it's been decided. 2 goals in 3 minutes in the first half, and 1 after 30 seconds of the second, in those crucial moments.
Yeah, the cluster bombs almost, really. And the game has been way more expansive than to be condensed into those couple of minutes of goal-scoring action. It's been a thrilling encounter, really. Both teams have been excellent. Now, the Wanderers probably a little off their best, but you'd have to give the credit for that to Brisbane for playing so well over the bulk of the game. Much better second half from the Wanderers. 30 seconds or so after the restart, and they're back in it, and they've looked dangerous on occasion since. Might be another one coming up now.
Here's Shikluna. On at left back. Cross in. Aldred heads away. This will be a test of Brisbane's defensive resolve these final minutes. Still just the one clean sheet for them this A-League season, a 3-0 win over Sydney FC. They have denied Lawrence Thomas a 5th clean sheet of the season. But will they inflict a first defeat of the campaign on the Wanderers? Shikluna looks up the line for Yunus, who gets away from Zabala. Neville across to cover. Yunus, the cross in is a good one, the header, it's in! Antonsen, the Swedish striker, with the glancing header. And just as it was against Newcastle, the Wanderers have come from 2 goals down, and their Swede has provided an equaliser.
Well, Yunus does excellently, but what about the glancing header and poor defending from Brisbane? I think it was Zabala who got himself on the Harvey Norman replay outplayed at right fullback, and Yunus was away, and they needed a third. Brisbane, it had the smell about it. They needed that third, couldn't get it, and how sweet from the Swede.
His second A-League goal. He also netted in the cup. He scored the opening goal in the 4-2 loss against Brisbane in the cup. As this evening he scored the final goal. For that, you'll have to wait and stay with us for these final moments, because who would put it past fifth goal, at least, still to come in this one.
Well, of course, Robbie, you're right. Still a chance for Brisbane to get their third. It's not it's a game that deserves a winner. It's not a game that really deserves a loser.
With the mud in the boots of Jay O'Shea. Now, I mentioned he's the only player to score a direct free kick this season. It was from about this kind of angle. It was almost exactly. Oh, what a save! Cahill denied. A goal on debut by Lawrence Thomas with a brilliant save.
It's a superb free kick. And Miliusnic missing the touch to start with. And then reaction from Shea Cahill. And Lawrence Thomas probably in the dock for goal number 1 of the night, but certainly saving the team's bacon then.
Fantastic save with his left hand. Cahill thought he'd done what Cahills do. Not yet. In it comes Aldred. Oh, deflected off Brownlee. Is he onside? Does the goal stand at first? For Ryland Brownlee. And they celebrate with the Den as they said they would. And Brisbane, Andy Harper, have their third goal after all.
Well, the free kick that led to the corner was a ripper. The marking offside on the Harvey Norman replay was not good enough against Tommy Aldred. Didn't know a lot about it, Brownlee, and it's going to be rubbed out. He looked instantaneously to see where he might be.
It doesn't count. Offside against Brownlee. Aldred's downward header. It might have been going in on its own, but it bounced off Brownlee. And he was, as we saw in that replay, in an offside position.
Fair call. Disappointing for the youngster and the Den, but there's still more time. Great drama, super game of football. What a climax.
Cahill. Last we've seen a handball given.
No, Lockie Brook got picked for one.
Oh,
the water tastes bitter.
Has left a bitter taste in the mouth. They thought they had their dramatic winner.
And I think, well, we've got 3 minutes to go. Can't write the epitaph on this game yet. But Brisbane have played superbly. Given the injuries to the Wanderers and how hard they've had to fight to get back into this. This is a big one for the Red and Blacks as well. Maybe they can win it.
They may yet. Antonsen still going. That was ambitious. Milanovic alongside him. He keeps it alive. Cicluna with Brillante. Back post. Cahill back doing the defending this time. Concedes the corner. Minutes left in stoppage time minimum. Still to be played. It's the Wanderers that have the corner. Brillante finally gets across to take it. The pitch has been given almighty workout over 94 minutes. In it comes the header. Beadling for the second time this evening. Can't keep it down. Now Neville with Aldred. O'Shea. Cahill. Nice first touch, wrestling with Simmons. Fouls. Simmons with front position. Well, he talks about the process. Ross Aloisi tries to avoid talking about the results. And just 6 games in to his managerial A-League career with Brisbane Roar, he'll be certainly satisfied with how his team has played and what they've produced, if not the points they have. Gamulka. Cahill. Almost a foul by Josh Brillante. They have a throw. Kai Trewin takes it long. Trewin back in towards Gamulka. He helps it on into the middle. Hendricks with a cartwheeling through the air header.
He's been excellent. He really has. He hasn't really been tested across the ground. We haven't seen if he can handle a foot race, but otherwise he's just been superb. What a pickup he is for the Wanderers. Look at these guys still going for it. Brilliant stuff, boys. It's been a thrilling game of football.
Shikluna drawing the foul from Mileušnić. We've already had 1 extra minute added on. Daniel Elder decides, after another look at the watch, that is that. The Wanderers dig deep and come from 2 goals down at half-time to salvage a share of the spoils at Suncorp and maintain their undefeated start to the season, extending it to 6 without loss in what was a match delayed by an hour because of thunderstorms and lightning strikes, only to burst to life once it began with a remarkable first half performance from the home side Brisbane Roar, who will feel disappointed having done the hardest part, scoring against this Western Sydney side. They did it twice in 3 first half minutes through Mileušnić and then Hingard, only for Nick Milanovic 33 seconds into the second half to give the Wanderers the hope they needed, and Antonsen to fulfill that hope 2 minutes from time. It's finished at Suncorp. Brisbane Roar 2, Western Sydney Wanderers 2. Well, let's head straight down to Amy Chapman, who is with the stars of the show.
Thanks, Robbie. Here with goal scorer fullback Jack Hingard. For a game that almost didn't happen, that was an absolute cracker. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I'm sure it was entertaining for the fans and the people watching at home. It was a little bit too open for our liking, I suppose, especially early on in that first half as well. But for us, I think overall our performance needs to be better. We're not happy with the performance. Even if we did come away with a win, we still wouldn't have been happy with our performance. And we're all about the process here and not the outcome. So it's yeah, disappointing. Obviously not to get the result, but I think our performance we need to have a look at and need to be better as well.
Yeah, so obviously a little bit of an overriding feeling of disappointment because you did dominate the game for many parts and you perhaps played to the conditions a little bit better than Western Sydney, but do you feel like that's 3 points lost there?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously being 2-0 up at half-time and to come away with only a point is extremely disappointing, especially at home. And I think the way that we played in the first half wasn't too bad, so I think we dominated most of the first half. But I think we let ourselves down in the second half. So it was yeah, disappointing to come away with a point, but it kind of shows where we're at when we're you know, disappointed when we draw with Wanderers, got playing for top spot and that sort of thing. So it shows where we're at. But at the same time, I think, we can definitely be better.
And let's just talk us through your goal, because that was one of the shining lights. Brisbane Roar came out firing. Is that a little glimpse of the style that Ross Aloisi wants you playing? The fullbacks getting into the box, you didn't hesitate to run in, and a great finish.
Yeah, 100%. Everyone's pretty aware now how well we play now, and the football that we're playing under Ross. It's been refreshing from my point of view, and I love bombing on and getting forward and overlapping. And the way that we play with Ross, the way that we're playing football, it allows me to do so. So hopefully there's more to come. I seem to score quite a bit at training and can't do it in games, so it's nice to get one. But obviously the more important thing would have been an overall performance and a win for us.
Thanks so much for your time, Jack.
Thank you very much.
And we'll go straight over to Milanovic here. What a game that was. The conditions obviously really tricky. How did you feel your team bounced back? Because you went into the sheds 2-0 down, but immediately, in fact, within 30 seconds, you had yourself on the score sheet.
I think the team was actually very disappointed that we went 2-0 down. It was just a lapse of concentration, I think. It was 2 minutes, I think they scored 2 goals. So, yeah, it's a credit to us. We fought back well, just like we did against Newcastle. It was that never say die mentality that we got, and we knew we needed to get a goal early, and lucky we got that, and it pushed us on to get that equaliser, yeah.
What's the overriding feeling here? You're happy you've come away with a draw, because for most parts of the game, Brisbane did have the edge on you there, but you certainly showed a lot of fight in that second half.
Yeah. Obviously, credit to Brisbane. They're a great team. I think they are one of the heavyweights this year, and that's another credit to us. We were ready for it. We knew they were going to be good, but as I said, when we went 2-0 down, we knew we had to find something a bit extra, and we did that, yeah.
And for you personally, what a goal that was. What a way to start that second half. Just I think it was a volley on the left foot. You didn't hesitate. Talk us through that actual goal.
Lucky it popped down to my left foot. It was just good for the team, because I think we just needed that early goal. And once we got that early goal, I didn't really have a doubt they were going to get another one, and thank God we did, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, obviously we're a bit gutted. We gave it our all and we knew it was going to be tough, especially with the conditions. And yeah, we knew coming into the game they're a good side, and I thought we came out in the first half. We had a plan and we executed it quite well, and then we got told all the right things at half time and just came out a bit slow, copped the goal, and yeah, sort of rest is history, mate. Yeah, I think Ross has come in and he's implemented his style, and I think not just me, but all the boys have really bought in, and it's definitely paying off, as you can see with the results and the way we play. And yeah, for myself, it really suits my style, and I love playing on the wing, getting behind, crossing, scoring. So yeah, really, really enjoying it. Yeah, we knew we had to come out, win tackles, win our 50-50 second balls, and yeah, that's what we're doing good in the first half. We're getting them, winning those balls and getting them on a sort of counter attack. And I guess the second half we didn't really. I mean, I had a chance to get another goal, which I should have probably done better, and then they come and score too. So yeah, it's obviously you know, you can have all the right things, but we just didn't come out in the second half. Yeah, Shay, he's a great kid. He's still young, and I think he got his first piece of the game tonight, and he debuted. And I think he came on and he did all the right things. He won us a free kick, and yeah, almost got in a goal scoring opportunity. So he's doing well. He's working hard every day. So he's going to be a very exciting player. So. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Scotty. Yeah, I'm here with Ross, who I must admit you're a joy to sit near. You're definitely animated. You're certainly vocal tonight, but we can tell you're still frustrated. Are you upset that the team didn't manage to take the 3 points tonight?
Obviously disappointed that we didn't get the 3 points because we created enough chances to score 6 goals. But in saying that, the pleasing thing is that we're creating those chances, and it was the same on Sunday against Perth Glory, and again tonight. You know, we deserved, in my opinion, to win this game. Both teams tried to play football, and we came up against one of the big 4 teams in the league as well, with a huge roster. But in saying that, like I said, we created a lot of chances. Trying to think of how many big saves Macklin Freck made, but I know Lawrence Thomas made 3 or 4 big saves, which, like I said, pleasing to create those chances, but I really would like the players to actually finish those off.
You've got to be happy with that opening first half, though. I think there was a glimpse of this brand of football that you're wanting to play when you see Jack Hingett overload that box there. Is that exactly what you're trying to get these players to do, to not hesitate to attack and take risks?
Yeah, well, we don't mind taking the risk, but the providing that at the back when we do go forward, that we're also covered as well. So it is the brand of football that we want to play. Unfortunately, Jack's come back from his knee operation, so he could only play 60 minutes. Bert Gilroy got injured early in the piece. Lofthouse wasn't even close to playing that long, and credit to him, he actually did quite well. He played for, I think, around 50 minutes. So it was pleasing that those players that did perform the way they did. I'm a little bit frustrated the way we started that second half, the way we conceded that first goal. That's a bit of frustration and an area to improve on.
Yeah, you can certainly see disappointment. You didn't get all 3 points tonight because the performance was there. It was very entertaining. But now you've got to shift focus to Adelaide, which, of course, you know very well. Back on the road for you guys. How much are you looking forward to heading back to Adelaide?
No, it's another game. Whether we're playing Adelaide or Melbourne or Sydney. So first things first, we'll review this game and have a look at the areas that we did well in and that we can improve on, and the areas that we need improvement on as well. So, and then we'll focus on Adelaide probably Tuesday or Wednesday. So it's a longer week for us this week. It was a short turnaround from last game, but it's a lot longer this time.
Thanks so much for your time, Ross.
Thank you.
Counts it in. Adriana Leon. What a hit! What a great goal! Canada take the lead with a rocket into the top corner.
Back to Kerr, who cuts it for Fowler! Less than 2.5 minutes on the clock, and Sam Kerr sets up Mary Fowler to give the Matildas the dream start.
Red hot lover, but I'm cold as ice. I'm no angel.
Thanks, Scotty. Yeah, I'm here with Marco. What a game. I think it was, question marks over how entertaining it was going to be, how good the quality of football was going to be, but it was very entertaining from a neutral's perspective. Draw or a fair result, do you think?
Yeah, I think it was. The way we came back and fought back in the second half was just remarkable. I couldn't be prouder of the players, and I told them as such after the game to come here. It's never easy against a good outfit. You're 2-0 down, your captain's gone off, and we've had a whole bunch of kids on the bench, and they all came on, did their job, and exactly what we wanted from them in the second half. We tweaked a couple of things as well, made a couple of changes. I thought it was a great effort from the players.
Yeah, it certainly looked like Brisbane had your measure, particularly with the conditions in that first half, but the reaction from the players, you've got to be happy with that. Milanovic with a phenomenal goal. That second half performance, particularly after losing Marcelo, you've got to be impressed with how the team pulled together.
Yeah, I was, and we needed a reaction right from the outset. And you know, the two changes made a difference. We needed to be on the front foot and get that first shot on goal, and it ended up going into the goal. And then you've got a sniff, and you got some belief about you again. And you know, we wanted to keep going and fighting, and you know, could have got something in the end, but so could they. And Lawrence Thomas came out with a world-class save. But in saying that, you know, I thought it was. You know, it was quite a fair result, but that second half performance, I tell you what, that's going to be a reference point as far as I'm concerned for the rest of the season, because not too many teams will be down 2-0 and come back the way we did, I believe.
Talk to me about this Marcelo injury. We thought ankle, then calf, potentially Achilles. How bad is it looking, and how do you possibly replace such a key player?
Well, Jorrit, you know, having spoken to him, Hendricks had played there at the top level, so we've got a plan B. I didn't come with a defender as such tonight because we know that Jorrit can play there, and I wanted to go after every game, and that's why we filled the bench with a lot of attacking players. But it's the Achilles. It's solid, which is good. He was able to walk on it, and nothing's broken from what we understand. But you know, for the big man to come off, it must have been quite serious. So, you know, I dare say he kind of has got his foot stuck into the turf. And I don't want to talk about that, but that happened, and it wasn't the best. But we hope that it's a speedy recovery until we actually go through the due process. We won't know just how bad it is.
Yeah, well, obviously a draw, a pretty good result away in these conditions. But, of course, that's a big loss on the back of losing Borrello as well. You've got Victory up next at home. How do you regroup and adapt to some of these big losses that you've got to get these players ready to go again?
Well, it's not the first time. And like you said, you know, Brandon came off last week, and we know, and it's just about making sure that the next one's ready and the next one's ready. And that's just how we operate and how we work. We're not going to use any excuses. We've got a squad full of players. We've got a lot of young kids this year as well who are getting a lot more opportunities than probably what they thought at the start of the year. But that's great. That's what we want to do. We want to keep developing these young ones, and they feel part of it, and they've got a great work ethic. They want to learn, they want to work, and they're getting chances now, and it's up to them to take it.
Thanks so much, Marco. Appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, too. Okay.